Johnny Bright was a young boy living in a small town called Maplewood. He loved music. His guitar was his best friend. Every evening, Johnny would sit under the big oak tree in his backyard and play. The neighbors would stop to listen. One day, at a school talent show, Johnny sang a song he had written himself. It was called Chasing Stars. The crowd cheered so loud that he felt like a star already. A man named Mr. Miller, a talent scout, approached him after the show. Mr. Miller told Johnny he had potential and could become famous. His parents hesitated but finally agreed to let him move to the big city to pursue his dreams. Johnny promised to work hard and make them proud. In the city, Johnny worked day and night on his music. Soon, he released his first song, Dreams of Gold. It became an instant hit. People everywhere were singing it, and he became famous and known. Johnny went on a world tour. He performed in huge arenas filled with screaming fans. He loved the spotlight and the cheers, but he started feeling tired and lonely. He missed home. As Johnny became more famous, everyone wanted something from him. His manager pushed him to write more songs. His fans wanted more concerts, and he rarely got time to rest. One day, a fellow musician named Rick offered Johnny something to help him relax. It was a little pill. Johnny said no at first, but Rick kept insisting. "Just try it," Rick said. Johnny gave in. The pill made Johnny feel calm and happy, so he started taking more. But soon, he couldn't perform without it. He was becoming dependent on it. He started missing rehearsals. He showed up late to concerts. His voice didn't sound the same. Fans began to notice, and some stopped coming to his shows. Johnny's parents visited him in the city. They saw the mess in his apartment and the sadness in his eyes. "Johnny, you need help," his mom said. But he didn't listen. One night, during a big concert, Johnny collapsed on stage. He was rushed to the hospital. The doctors said he had taken too many pills. His career was now at risk. In the hospital, Johnny realized he had hit rock bottom. His mom stayed by his side. She reminded him of the boy who used to sing under the oak tree. Johnny decided to get help. He went for rehabilitation. Rehab was harder than Johnny imagined. He had to face his fears and deal with the pain he had been running from. Sometimes he wanted to give up, but he thought about his family and the boy he used to be. Johnny met others in rehab who were also struggling with addiction. They shared their stories and supported each other. For the first time, he realized he wasn't alone. After leaving rehab, Johnny tried to reconnect with his old friends and supporters. Some forgave him right away, but others needed time. He understood that earning trust would take work. Johnny moved back to Maplewood to be closer to his roots. He wanted to remember why he loved music in the first place. He started playing his guitar under the oak tree again, and he began writing songs about his journey, about his rise, fall, and the lessons he had learned. His lyrics were raw and honest, and they resonated with people who had faced similar struggles. Instead of aiming for big arenas, Johnny started performing at small community events. People appreciated his humility and honesty. His music felt real and meaningful. At one event, a young fan approached him with tears in her eyes. "Your music helped me when I was sad," she said. Johnny realized that even though he wasn't as famous, he was making a real impact. One day, Rick, the friend who had introduced Johnny to pills, called him and invited him to a party in the city. Johnny felt torn, but decided to stay home. He didn't want to risk falling back into old habits. Johnny started volunteering at a local youth center, teaching kids how to play guitar. He saw himself in those kids and wanted to inspire them to follow their dreams without losing themselves. One day, he got a call from a music producer who had heard his new songs. The producer offered to record an album with him, focusing on his story of redemption. Johnny poured his heart into the album. He stayed true to his story, refusing to let fame dictate his music. The album was called The Road Back. The album didn't break records, but it received critical acclaim. People admired Johnny's honesty and courage. He felt proud of his work, even without the massive fame. During a radio interview, the host asked Johnny about his darkest moments. Without leaving any line behind, Johnny spoke openly about his addiction and the mistakes he had made. It was painful but freeing. Johnny's story inspired others to seek help for their struggles. He started receiving letters from fans thanking him for his courage. One day, Johnny got a surprise visitor, Rick. Rick looked tired and defeated. "I need help," Rick admitted. Johnny didn't hesitate to take him to a rehab center. Helping Rick made Johnny realize how far he had come. He finally forgave himself for his past mistakes. Johnny wrote a song called Rise Again, dedicated to everyone fighting their battles. It became a symbol of hope for many people. The song caught the attention of a major TV network, which invited him to perform and share his story. Johnny hesitated but agreed, knowing it could help others. On the live TV, Johnny sang Rise Again. His voice was strong and his emotions were raw. The audience gave him a standing ovation. Johnny learned to balance his music career with his personal life. He made time for family, friends, and himself, knowing how important it was to stay grounded. He used his earnings to start a foundation for young artists struggling with addiction. He wanted to give them the support he never had. Meanwhile, Rick completed rehab and started working at Johnny's foundation. The two friends rebuilt their bond, this time based on mutual respect and growth. Johnny organized a concert in Maplewood, performing under the stars near the oak tree. It was a simple event, but it meant the world to him. He received an award for his contributions to music and his advocacy for addiction recovery. He accepted it humbly, saying, "This is for everyone who believed in me." He decided to take a break from performing to focus on teaching and writing. He wanted to pass on his knowledge to the next generation. Johnny often looked back on his journey. He knew he had been to the darkest places, but was proud of how he had climbed back up. He reminded people that life is about choices. "We all fall," he said. "What matters is how we rise." Johnny's parents were his biggest supporters. They attended every small event and reminded him how proud they were of his growth. One day, a fan gave Johnny a drawing of him playing under the oak tree. It reminded him of where he started and why he loved music. One of his students, a young girl named Lily, showed exceptional talent. Johnny encouraged her, saying, "You can do great things." Johnny performed one last big concert, donating all the proceeds to his foundation. It was his way of giving back to the community. Johnny spent his later years surrounded by family and friends. He continued writing songs, though they were mostly for himself. His foundation grew, helping hundreds of young artists. His legacy lived on through the people he had inspired. Sitting under the oak tree one evening, he strummed his guitar and smiled. He had found peace. Johnny's life was a testament to resilience. He learned that fame wasn't everything. His rise and fall were only chapters in a greater story, a story of redemption, love, and hope. Thank you so much for watching that video. If you enjoyed the story and want to see more, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. And if you loved what you saw, leave a comment below or share it with someone who might enjoy it too. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.